We are always studied in our childhood that strength is in numbers, unity is better. So when there are individuals in groups and multiple individuals forming an aggregation together, they have greater chance at avoiding or getting resources or warding of predators. So that sort of interactions, right? So there is strength in numbers. One of the interesting strategies is dilution effect, which talks about decrease of individual attack rate when in group. So it is a example of murmuration where different birds group together, and when a predator attacks it, they diverge and form out different subgroups and then flock together. So that sort of movement gives a very good view to watch it, but it is very bad view for a predator because they feel it is very difficult to find a particular prey in the bigger group. Yeah, so that is dilution effect. Then there is selfish herd hypothesis, which tells about in a herd or in a group, there are few individual groups which form a blockage in the center, and in the center it is more protective. So usually animal tend to fight for their position in the center, which is more protective. Hence, usually young ones and females are kept in the center, while the periphery is usually taken up or defended by adults. But the thing is, many organisms try to go in the center and get the position at the center. Then comes predator satiation. Predator satiation is a very interesting aspect of, it is shown that many organisms, what they do is they produce in huge number that the predator gets fed up by eating them. So in place of producing small individuals in different intervals, what they do is they produce large number of individuals at one time. At one time, if there are so when there are hundreds and thousands of prey, a predator can only eat up to a particular limit at one particular time. If there are thousands of prey, they can only eat up to hundreds. Or there are even let's say, so if there are even let's say 10-20 predators, they can only eat up to some limit. So if the preys are produced in larger number, so after satiation, after the fulfillment of the predator, the other remaining preys will go free. So that is predator satiation. And then there's alarm signals. Different organisms produce alarms and tell the other group members of the prey. If there are large groups, so they have better chance of survival because one may raise the alarm and the alarm will flow on. Then there is improved vigilance. Again, similar sort of adaptation where multiple individuals, when there are few individuals, act as sentinels. So they go into upper higher position. Like if you have seen monkeys, if it is a large group, there are many alpha males or beta males standing or sitting up in a higher position. So if there are multiple individuals or larger group, there are multiple individuals which are looking at over the group. If there are few members, then only one or two will be looking at over, right? So better the number, better vigilance. Then there is predator confusion. Zebras usually have stripes, which you see cannot match with the background, but when they're in a group, larger group, it is very difficult for a predator to see and focus into one individual. When they're moving around, black and white stripes with a contrast causes illusion and distraction. So predator confusion also is a factor which helps in strength in number. A single zebra can be hunted down, but in a group, it's very difficult to catch them from behind. When they're moving, it causes an illusion in the eyes. Then comes facing the predator. After strength and avoiding all, it's time to face the predator. If it is nothing working on, then you need to form a defense. So many organisms usually have defendable structures, like they have spines which they poke into the predator, or they have let's say chemical defenses which they release to the predator. If nothing is working out, weak defended individuals secrete or release chemicals which act as an irritant, as an offense as well. Okay, so there is chemical defense, like this is a Texas horned lizard which releases blood stream from their eyes, and it falls on the predator, which causes an irritating reaction. So it causes an irritating reaction which leaves them away. Okay, then there is mobbing. Mobbing is usually done by a group of preys to ward off the predator. So here the owl is a predator, but the group of crows, or the murder of crows, which is a collective term for the crows, so they are mobbing the predator, chasing away the predator by forming a group. Is also called as defensive communities. Right, now there is defensive regurgitation, where the chicks of some birds or as well as adults regurgitate and release the intestinal fluid out of the body into the predator so that it becomes an irritant. Right, then there is suicidal altruism. Suicidal altruism is a sort of a interesting, fascinating response where one specific organism, like this bombarding ants, what they do is, or suicidal ants are also called. So what they do is when attacked, what they do is they burst up, usually not blast like a bomb, but they swell themselves up and releasing toxicants. They kill themselves, but the toxicants that are released from their body, protects the entire hive. So they suicide, they kill themselves in order to save the entire hive. So that is suicidal altruism. Then comes escaping the predator. So once these nothing work out, the best thing is to run away. So the normal reaction of any prey to attack an individual is to flee by available means or any means. That includes escape by running, flying, rolling, jumping, and gliding. Okay, whatever the possible way of movement or motion you have that you can use to fly off. Then there is borrowing. Few animals also escape by borrowing at the right their position and borrow to a safer place so that they remain borrowed. Moles and few dictatorial animals, fossorial animals, usually use borrowing as a term of escape. Then there is zigzag movements. It is usually used by many running animals. So they run in a zigzag pattern, avoiding the direct attack of the predator. Then there is autotomy. Autotomy is interesting as they shed one of their appendages, maybe tail or leg, which usually regenerates. Okay, so if a predator is catching up the tail, so they shed it down and run away, so that it causes a portion of it to remove, but it regenerates again. So it is pretty common. You have seen the lizards, autotomy is pretty common, and they regrow it. So collectively we can group it down to this much, or we can also see this perspective. So so it depends on predator activity how the prey will be adapted. So okay, when the predator is searching for a prey, so the predator should improve its visual area. Now there is searching a particular image. When they can search or focus on a specific image or a pattern, they can search for an entire area to find live moving prey. So in order to adapt, the counter adaptation by the preys are crypsis. So if they are having improved visual acuity, the preys usually find matching backgrounds or disruptive patterns, counter shading. So if preys are finding specific image, looking at specific image or patterns, or if they're fighting that this type of prey, this type of pattern is found in this type of prey, let's say zigzag pattern is for zebra, or say black and white stripes are for zebra, then polymorphism, different coloration of the same species will result in confusion of the predator. And then when predators are focusing on a specific region, okay, what they can do is they can space out, they can move around. Then there is segregation of prey, learning for a specific prey, how the prey behave, how the prey moves out. So if preys have this counter adaptation of masquerade, like resembling inedible objects, even if they are learning for this is the edible one, this is non-edible one, predators have to learn which is edible, which is non-edible. So if they masquerade themselves or if they appear as a non-edible one, then they can be saved, right? Praise or warning signals, deceiving the predators. So that sort of interaction can be done with respect to learning. Then there is catching prey. So when predator has to better adapted to catching, they improve their mobility, they improve their motor skills, they improve their secretive approach, ambushing. Now what will be the counter adaptation by prey? The counter adaptation can be signaling the predator that I am able to run away. Okay, even if you ambush me, I am fine with running away. Escaping flights, startling responses. When there's weapon of offense, like predators have lots of weapons of offense, it may be nail, it may be canine teeth, it may be different kind of weapons that they have. So counter adaptation would be deflecting attack, and there will be defense weapons as well. Then there is handling prey. So when it comes to handling the prey, they have subduing skills where they subdue or capture and hold the particular prey, or sometimes toxify the prey, sometimes also detoxify themselves if the prey is toxic. Okay, so there are different adaptation of the predator. Now what are the counter adaptation of preys? They have active defense, spines, tough integuments, tough skin to pierce in, they have toxins. So all this sort of adaptation and counter adaptation is pretty common with preys and predator. So they have adaptations. If the predator has adaptation, preys evolve counter adaptation. So you can see different examples where one is camouflage, they are camouflaging with their background. These are like masquerading, where a caterpillar is looking like a twig. If you can find it, there is a caterpillar. There is the caterpillar. It's very difficult to find the caterpillar. Then comes, so these caterpillars are looking like the droppings of a bird on a leaf, so it is looking an inedible object. Now this is aposematic coloration, this is startling behavior. So you can see how examples are showing that different organisms can prepare counter adaptation for the adaptation of predators. If predator is wanting and improving itself to catch the prey, then preys have better adaptation, better counter adaptation to get away from the predator, and this is called coevolution.